Like, as a Terran, he's just always up there. And, but yeah, I mean, we got game number 2 here ready to go. It is going to be on Frost. And game number 1 went to Masa. This could be match point for him.
Yeah.
Because if he takes this game, he will advance to our finals here for Group A with a 2-0.
Yeah, and here we go. We're going to be spawning in on top of our top left Lavender Terran player representing Root Gaming. This is going to be Masa.
Lavender. You're so cute, Doug. At the top right with a good old-fashioned green from Team Kill. It is our Zerg on the run, Jig.
Yep.
Now, this game, I want to say that we're going to see a little bit of a switch up in that tech, but he does have an Overlord going in the right way here from Jig. He is going to find Masa early. I'm curious to see, is that going to be in time to see something of a bit more of an early aggression from Jig, or are we going to go a bit more standard, do you think?
I think Masa will still go Reapers. Frost, very good ledge map.
Masa does Reapers no matter what.
And
that's what he does.
Jig should be able to find it. Like, the barracks is just going down. That Overlord is already halfway across the map here. Should very easily be able to get all the way across. So, and Refinery is going down. Gas income going to be starting up soon. And Jig, again, just going for the hatch first, even though seeing Masa does go for that Reaper play.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing is that I feel like Jig does have a bit more time on his hands compared to most. So
on this map.
Pardon?
On this map. Yeah.
No, just like in general in terms of practice.
Okay.
Right? Because he is in high school like myself. So
okay. You're talking about that kind of time.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
The flower of youth playing sports. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like he's been trying to make a type of build because a lot of players, they just haven't been able to go hatch first versus Masa and make it work. But we did see Jig was able to hold versus Masa's Reapers last game. So I feel this is a very Masa-centric build that Jig's been trying to do.
Well, he held for sure, had very minimal losses. Looks like Masa is going to actually correctly guess again with that SCV. We do got the Reapers coming out, and bam, down goes the bunker. Already one drone out and about, ready to try to defend this. I'm not sure one is going to be enough, but it's going to be a little bit of a pain in Masa's side. But again, on the back of this, we're going to see between 3 and 5 Reapers, an expansion come out for Masa, and he's just going to set up for that mid game. That's where I think Jig has to try to make use of the Zerg and try to push out a bit more aggressively.
Yeah, right now we do have the first Reaper. He's going to be coming in. 2 Zerglings, but even on creep, without Metabolic Boost, that Reaper can just kite so easily, and that SCV gonna go down.
Again, that split. The Zerglings coming out not only from main to deal with the Reaper, but behind him again to get the SCV building the bunker. That's 2 for 2. And we're not going to have this completed bunker here for Masa. And again, sometimes that is like the game decider right there. Like having that bunker right there forces you to do so much more development early in terms of your army in order to try to deal with it. So you see already 2 Reapers. 3rd one there in the bank. You see the command center now going on its way as well. In barracks, we're going to see the Hellions. Curious to see if we'll see the Banshees eventually or not, but bio balls with a lot of Marines, definitely more of a Masa-centric build.
Yeah, and these 2 Reapers still alive. We do have a 3rd heading across the map right now. We do have the Natural is going down, the Factory on the way as well with the Reactor. So again, just the same kind of build as last game.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Cookie cutter Masa.
And as you said, Jig, he really needs to focus on trying to fight in that mid-game, because staying on tier 1 units versus a lot of Marines and Window Mines isn't really going to work out too well.
I'm fearing for this Queen right now. She's going 3 on 1. She's not going to get anything. The replacement Queen does come out. Finally, we're going to get a creep tumor down. And, live to fight another day. The Reapers go back. We're going to wait for some Hellion reinforcements, and we'll strike out again. But as we said, Masa in the back. Going to be just building up. Now, what has Jig been doing this whole time? We got 33 workers to hit to the 23 here of Masa.
Yeah, Jig, he's been droning up, actually. After those initial Zerglings, he didn't make anymore. He got Metabolic Boost, and now he's going to be droning up and continuing to do that, and he's throwing down his 3rd right now. Probably will be getting up another gas and his lair soon enough as well, so that way he can transition into those Banelings, into the Mulus or Roaches. And we do see 2 Extractors now. Much more gas will be coming in from 3 gases than 2.
Well, if we get all the gas going up, we might we might see that Spire going down a little bit quicker. You got the double Evos going down, so we're going to make that pseudo Zerg wall that we like to do. Another Queen on its way as well, but again, Reapers into Hellions.
Yeah.
Pretty standard stuff. They're going to come in, they're going to check out the situation, see what kind of army we're sitting at. The army supply is very low for both of our players, but again, MaSa in the back. He relies on those mules a lot.
Yeah. And you know, because of relying on those mules, he is able to get this kind of early aggression out, because like we see right now, only about 30 worker supply. If he had equal supply, which would be around 40 or 45 around now, he wouldn't be able to have these Hellions and Reapers come out so quickly. It's with those mules, you're able to get these kind of forces out and deal the kind of harassment that MaSa has a staple of doing.
Well, still no word on Mutalisks at this point. We got some armor coming out from the ground, not only attack but the armor as well there for the Zerglings. No Baneling nest quite yet either, but a few more Overlords going back. You see now that MaSa has this force ready to go, ready for this harassment. You can see him now doing a lot of SCV work in the back.
Yeah, and right now we do see the Spire is going to be coming out now, as well as 1-1 for Melee here. So definitely going to be a much different game. Does get the Baneling nest as well, and that's very crucial. You can't just have Mutalisks and Zerglings. You don't have any area of effect to really get rid of those Marines that become a problem. And nice surround there with those Zerglings. Should be able to catch a few of those Hellions. And tries to get another one. Will get quite a bit of that force there.
Oh, this drone line from the back.
Well, when you run out of Zerglings, drones are the next best thing.
No, exactly. No, we've seen a lot of SCV pulling, a lot of drone pulling in and around the place here, but that was actually really well executed there from Jig. Maybe MaSa just caught a little bit off guard by that sudden increase in aggression. But again, we got to buy time here for that the Spire. The Spire's going down. The Banelings are going down as well. So Mutaling Bane, something a bit more typical that we're used to seeing now. And again, the counterattack coming out. It's going to take a few SCVs and just kind of pull MaSa's attention for now. But, you know, in and around, what, the 11-minute mark or so, we should start seeing some Mutos. We got 700 gas banked up in the back, 800, so that could be a nice intro here to the flying species here from the Zerg.
Looks like we're going to be starting off with flyer attacks, and yeah, Mutalisks are going to be starting up pretty much right away. It looks like it's going to be about 5. Could probably add in a 6th there because, you know, did lose a bit of gas going for the flyer attacks pretty early.
It's actually more limited by minerals than gas, trying to ramp that up. But 8 of them are going to be coming that way. Upgrades for the air. Again, the MaSa production line is just immense. He also suspects, or he knows, not entirely too sure if we saw a scan there or not, but we do got some missile turrets now coming up.
Yeah, and it looks like it's just going to be the one, but you know, I do like the idea of having more bunkers down, especially with the Zergling harassment that Jig was very successful with last game. Having those bunkers there, it allows for also the anti-ground defense just in case. And right now, looks like the Marine's going to be able to get a couple drones, and he's probably going to be wondering why were they headed that way. He's just going to find the 4th, really.
Yeah, if he goes around the long way,
gets canceled.
Immediately knows what's up. Going around the long way does ensure looking for that 4th. Also comes around from the back. Sometimes can catch out a queen or key buildings if somebody's trying to be a little bit cheeky with it. Some exploratory drones just keeping an eye on where that army actually is. But we did cancel out that 4th. So it's going to be at least delayed. They go and put it back down. The Mutas have now, I think, been introduced to the defenses. And that is going to be a lot of dead Marines right there.
Yeah, and these medevacs also going to be going down as well, getting caught by those Mutalisks. One going to be going down. The second one should be able to go down. No. Oh, there we go. And you know, just reducing medevac numbers, especially versus a bioturn, is so crucial because that way they just can't afford to use stim too often, especially when they have a lower amount of medevacs. Of course, later on in the game when the medevac count is about like 6 to 10, then it's not going to matter. If he loses 1 or 2, he can just remake those. But right now, when he only has so many medevacs, he really needs to be trying to keep as many alive, especially since MaSa likes doing drops a lot.
Yeah, you take out some of those drop ships, and yeah, you do reduce survivability, you reduce the amount of drops that you have to deal with. We do have an infestation pit on the way, more upgrades from both players. You can see Marauders coming through with more ground upgrades from MaSa. You see armors and attacks and aerial armor, I think, right there, for the Mutas as well. So Muta, Bane, Ling, and Infestors soon to be here.
Well, he might be just getting the infestation pit for the hive, so that way you can get 3-3. But, you know, Infestors, they could work too, especially versus Bio. definitely could help hold them in, and it looks like Zergling's going to be coming in here. A lot of these Marines just trying to run away, but slipping right through the middle, and these Marines going to be trying to do the same. Widowmine's going to get a nice shot on the Mulus there, but still a nice flip from Jig. Will be able to keep those Mulus alive.
Yeah, the Mutas might actually be alive, but those Widow Mines started doing work. We got an Overseer now in there as well, but still the army was right under his nose.
Yeah.
That is a massive cleanup there for Jig.
Yeah, and Jig now going to be up about 20 supply. 2-2 is also going to be finishing up soon for both these players. 30 more Zerglings are on the way. These Mulus have dealt so much damage so far, and right now the 4th base is up for Jig. Things are looking good for him. He's going to be getting his Hive, and we'll probably be seeing 3-3 come out soon. And then I feel like after this, because of the fact that MaSa isn't producing too many Marauders, that he could easily switch into Ultralisk, Zergling, Infester after this.
I would love to see some Ultralisks out and about on the field. Very durable units for sure. Splash damage works great against the Bio Balls, but MaSa has been pretty on point with his splits. Perhaps maybe not top level code S, but at the same time he has been doing what you saw in game number 1, a lot of the splits actually defeating a lot of the AoE coming out from Jig. But Jig has maintained the supply lead, has maintained an army lead for majority of this game as well. But you know, with that 4th up, again, more larvae to his disposal. A lot of income coming out from Jig as well.
Yeah, and we do see the Zerglings and Banelings going to be coming in from the east, and a couple Banelings going to be coming in from the south, getting into the mineral line there. Mulus trying to deal some damage as well, but you know, I like that the distraction up there over at the east side just gets the Banelings in, deals so much damage, and right now, where are you going, Zerglings? You're supposed to block that command center.
Not often that we actually see MaSa have to take a 4th, but he is ready to go for it. You got some Changelings going down there as well. Zerglings have done their duty, but yeah, the cleanup crew is here, and the 4th will go down here from MaSa. A lot of drop ships. I'm a little surprised we haven't actually seen any Vikings.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know, he doesn't have too many starports, so even if he does start getting out Vikings, he won't be able to get too many, and by the time he does have a sizable amount, Jig will probably have already been teching out of that.
Burrow Tech now coming in on its way, but you know, the green swarm of Jig coming in here. Those bunkers have actually been doing a lot of blocking work, which is exactly what they're meant to, but still getting some Banelings there into the back line. Here comes the cleanup army from behind, though, from MaSa. The Marines doing work. I think they caught a few of those Mutas out, but ultimately these hit-and-run tactics, they're starting to wear down on MaSa because he is on the defense. He has not been able to really do any kind of big pushing out here for a while. That might change right here.
Yeah, MaSa finally going to be able to push out. Does have an army supply lead by about 10 here. And it looks like he's going to be heading over towards the 4th.
Does Jig actually know what's up? Yeah, he definitely knows what's up. Zergling's going to come in there from behind as well as those Mutas. Mutas should be able to pick off a lot of those reinforcements for free.
Oh, but here comes the main force. Is going to be pushing in towards that 4th base. A lot of Zerglings, not too many Banelings though. Scan from behind, so he does know what's coming, but the hatchery is going to go down pretty quickly here. We do have 3-3 and adrenal glands trying to come out here, but you know, it's not done yet. And a big pickup. Mulus should be able to get a few of these medevacs.
Make it rain.
Oh,
yeah, they just burned out their fuel as well. There goes one. Looking for the rest. They're just panicking and throwing down the army, but here comes the Zerglings. It's like the campaign all over again.
Yeah, you know, doesn't have a Zelnaga artifact to try and hold that off this time, so MaSa going to be falling in supply pretty badly there. Just, you know, wasn't able to get out with those afterburners, and now Zergling's going to be coming over towards... Comes over to the Planetary Fortress. SCV is going to try to repair, but those Zerglings are on A move, so those SCVs are going to die pretty quickly, and this PF it's going to go down.
Goodbye, brave soul. Or not. No, there we go.
There we go.
Just sort of sacrifice the Zerglings, get that Planetary, so that will be, you know, payback from game number 1. Jig, very much in a commanding lead, I want to say, right here. He's kept up the aggression. He has that 4th now coming back. His income is still actually miles ahead right now of MaSa. MaSa has to do a lot of muling up, but in terms of workers, I mean, we got about a 20 lead there, and a lot of larvae has been led into a lot of Zerglings.
Yeah, right now, not even that much larvae remaining, so really just been trying to use as much as he can. Baneling's going to be trying to roll into these Marines, but they're split up pretty nicely. Jig just wasn't able to get too many connections with that, and you know, we're starting to reach that point where he probably should start trying to tech out of Muling Bane, because the 3-3 upgrades, they're going to be able to deal with it pretty easily, especially now that he has such a ridiculous amount of medevacs that he can just fly around all over he wants.
I was looking at the banked up minerals here. Jig actually has a sizable, fallback there from his minerals, as well as the gas. Gas has been getting up there pretty hot and heavy as well, but not really any kind of Mutalisk reinforcements becoming. It's just basically been the pure Zerg Bane. But we do got the 3/3s, I think, actually now done for the ground army. Now it's just time to finish off the air. And again, more expansion is going to become the way, because you can't imagine we're mining off of too many of those bases anymore.
Yeah, right now it looks like a 4th going to try getting taken over at the east of his natural expansion there, but Mutalisk going to be able to take off quite a bit of health there on that orbital command center. It looks like Zergling's going to be heading down the south side to check for another base there. And, with these bridges, you can just kind of head up here right into the...
If the army's north, then this third is ready for the plucking, especially if they come in from the way that they're not looking. The Muta's keeping the attention up here. I mean, it's going to you have to defend something, right? Is it going to be your 4th, or is it going to be your 3rd? Zergling's actually not moving out, but that's because they're becoming Banelings.
Yeah, that SCV was able to spot it, and
Masa
Masa
knows. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows. And he's going to be preparing a lot of supply depots.
The palisades going up.
The Banelings,
like D-Day, right?
They're going to roll right through the middle. A nice bottleneck should be able to get rid of a lot of them. SCV is going down, and still so many Banelings left over.
Really nice control there from Jig. He doesn't actually, throw a lot of them there on top of those supply depots. They're basically just wasted at this point. But he kept the Banelings, which means that there's still a threat from the west, while the Zerg still masses here from the east. 189 supply. Like, Jig is almost hitting that max, which means you got to start trading now. You got to get that supply back, because Masa is not there. He doesn't have really the bank that he had from game number 1. He doesn't have that sustainability. Like, again, we're only basically mining off of 2 bases each at this point. Jig is out massing him. He's out farming him. He's out everything at this point. And those Mutas are, they traded out a bit because we got some Ultras.
Yeah. And right now it looks like the Ling Bane is... A few of the Banelings going to be entering into the 3rd here. Not too many SCVs left to kill, though.
As I said, it's just the fact that there's a threat that it kind of keeps the Masa army right there. Masa has not really been able to do any kind of assaulting on top of Jig for the longest time. Cool. Yeah. We're going to see Balboa, guys.
Yep. So, right now, it looks like a lot of Zerglings going to be heading up the west side again of this map. And right now, Ultralists are on the way.
Yeah, I think we're just literally waiting for the perfect 200 army here from Jig. Again, an attack here coming out from the left-hand side. We got, I want to say that was a Widow Mine right there.
Yeah, there was a Widow Mine there. And right now, it looks like that orbital command center is going to be going down, and now Masa also going to be taking damage over at his 4th. That turret is going to go down. A lot of those Mutalists did get killed off, but over at the 3rd, still more damage being done, and supply depots going down. Masa fairly supply blocked here.
I want to say, we've been doing Torcraft here on ESChamp TV for 3 months.
Yeah.
Every time it's been Masa going undefeated. This is the first time I've seen him on the ropes like this in 3 months.
Yeah, well, when you have an out-of-region player that has the time to study your play quite a bit, especially since Masa has been playing quite a lot in the past couple months, as you said, then he has the ability to figure out what holes are there in his opponent's play. And right now, it's looking like he's found a couple of them, and it also does help Frost a very big map, and getting these horizontal spawns does allow him to come up through the north as well.
We've actually now run into an SCV problem for Masa. Not only are we supply blocked, we're not doing anything with gas, and we have just such a low amount of mineral income coming in because these Mutalisks have not given up. Not only have the Zerglings Banelings taken out the 3rd, but the 4th is now virtually not mining. And Masa is just slowly being choked to death right here. Like, this is a game of money attrition. You see his army now going for the 4th there of Jig. And, like, this is... I have to feel that this is just like a last-ditch effort. Like, this is a chance to force a fight and Masa to kind of get some ground back, because he's been very defensive this entire game.
Yep, and right now, Ultralists are about to pop out as well, so, Jig can probably take this fight. Will lose his 4th, but does have his 5th. Is throwing down a 6th as well, so it's not really going to make too much of a difference. A lot of Ultralists are out on the map already right now. And now, the Mulist is going to fly over to that 3rd, kill whatever's left of his SCV count.
Well, Jig knows where the army is. Masa, at this point, I mean, we haven't really seen the numbers being replenished. He knows that he's down at least 2, if not 3 bases, because we had to throw a command center over. So, this army of Jigs has been able to deal with not only the offensive there from MaSa, but also able to deal out just as much damage. And those changelings are amazing.
Yeah. Oh, GG from MaSa.
It's just over. Like,
yeah.
He couldn't get all the bases. He was being choked out. He was still supply blocked. Didn't have any cash, really, to bring it back. So
yeah.
Jig actually brings us to a 1-1. And this, again, is my first time in 4 events now here in Toronto that I have seen MaSa actually drop a game.
Yeah, well, you know, what can you do, Jig?
It's impressive.
Yeah, he's also not from Toronto. So
right, no, he resides in Quebec.
Yes. So MaSa hasn't been able to play Jig a lot. So we're going to see, you know, Jig's going to be starting to bring in things that we haven't seen from other Toronto players recently, right? And it's been showing. And I also do want to note that, you know, getting that not tier 1 units really did help in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got mutas, and all of a sudden the life was a lot better for him. Like that game number 1 tech switch, like at that last moment, it really is a little mind-boggling. But Jig does bring it to a 1-1. Team killing spree. Not team kill. Team killing spree. I have been disciplined in that. I've got it memorized now. Let's see if he can actually move this to a killing spree, because if he takes this game from MaSa, he will move on to our best of 1 for the seeding tonight instead of MaSa. And I got to say, like, going into this, a lot of Toronto players are going to say that MaSa was the crowd favorite.
Yeah. 1-1 now. Just 1 game left, and then he'd be out of Kings of the North here for the rest of the season. So...
yeah, and speaking of the season, guys, like, we are doing Group A tonight here at the CG Magazine studio. It is 4 games, or 2 sets of best of 3. I guess I shouldn't say 4 games. Group B next week is going to be, again, same time, same place, 8 p.m. next Friday here, Eastern. As you see, it's 9 o'clock right now, so rewind, add 7 days. And that will be Group B. And there you go. Huck versus ESChamp?
ESChamp, yes.
ESChamp, and then Hendrilisk versus Pooh.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Amazing. Hendrilisk, again, another big Toronto favorite. We've seen him a lot of our tour crafts. And, of course, Huck, you know, the Protoss of Canada, the 2-time MLG champion, plus a whole bunch of other brilliant, amazing trophies under his name.
Yep.
But, yeah, so that will be next Friday. And then after that, the day after, on the Saturday, we do the Group A versus B, and then Group B versus A, and we crown a King of the North.